Hello, hello. This is Janet Wright, and this is going to be the December 2018 Metatron Monthly Energy Healing Forecast recording. And again, this is for December 2018. So, as some of you know, maybe I have some new listeners who do not know, what I do to create this recording is I go up out of my body to the Akashic Records, which is a universal spiritual library for everybody that the angels maintain. And I meet there with the archangel Metatron. And he's really kind and generous enough to give me messages that I can put in this recording so that we can all use it to have some additional guidance and insight into the month of December 2018 and what would be really healthy behaviors that could help us optimize our wellness during December 2018. And oftentimes the advice is really healthy for any time, although it's uniquely suited for December 2018. So you can even listen to old recordings for good ideas also. And many times, though not always, there will be another archangel that Metatron has speak during the recording, later in the recording. So not in the first 5 minutes, but later during the recording. Although November was just Metatron because he was on such a roll. He just did it all himself. So without further ado, I will begin. So I just got checked out by one of my angels to make sure my energy was good enough. And then that angel helped bring me to the stairs outside of the Universal Akashic Records. And I'm going up the stairs. And I feel like a cool mist right as I put my hands on the door. And I'm sure everyone's experiences are different, but for me, I don't open those doors. I feel like it's not my place. I just put my hands on the door and then they're opened for me by an angel or they're not. And so I put my hands on these big double doors and then, hello, Janet. This is Metatron. Come on in. Let's get started right away. We're going back to the garden that we often use for these messages, that is inside the Akashic Records. And let's sit down at an especially sunny spot. And why don't you describe just a little bit of what it's like around here? So I notice lots of hanging plants with trailing, very beautiful, sort of like a waterfall, but of green plants everywhere. Different flowering plants, different just green plants, trailing with vines and branches. They're very graceful. It's pretty. And there's also at least 2 different water fountains making very pretty falling water sounds. There's one bird in particular that's really chirping a lot. And at a bird bath. It's acting like he's got a lot to say. I think he's welcoming me, actually. That's pretty fun. Okay, Janet, I think you did a good job. So let's get started. So as you know, November did have some energy shifts. Although they were smaller than the August-September energy shifts, they were considerable. They were one-day energy shifts. So a big shift, for example, between a Thursday and a Friday, or between a Monday and a Tuesday. And there were a couple of those in the month of November 2018. And I'm happy to inform your listeners that December has none of that. It is very, very gradual, much like a sunrise or a sunset. Very smooth energy shifts. The whole month is an energy shift technically, but not of the size of August and September 2018. More the size of the November shifts, but again, it's all smoothed out into one, perhaps like a staircase with very gradual steps. So it should be easier for people to go from day to day. There won't be, as there were in November, some very abrupt shifts from one day to the next, and that does not exist this month in December 2018. So that's nice. That should be easier for people. Less puzzling. And another aspect I wanted to mention, you can see that I have changed the garden scenery at the moment to a night sky with stars in the sky. And that is to remind you, Janet, of the moonroof healing technique, and your listeners, to remind them to use the moonroof healing technique video several times within December, because it is an optimal energy to add to the month itself. For those that need a reminder, perhaps they've heard that video, perhaps not yet. Moonroof healing, there's an intro video and then a walkthrough video that Janet has with moonroof healing in the title. So it's a part of the fifth layer, number 5, in the back of the aura, and it not only helps with safety, energy safety, but it also, once it's functioning properly and kept safe, then it adds a very gentle and soothing and uplifting energy from the moon and the stars to one's mind. So both for the safety and protection aspect, as well as the soothing and uplifting aspect, it is ideal for December 2018. So I would encourage people to work those 2 videos, the intro if needed. If you need more of an explanation, listen to the intro moonroof healing video. Otherwise, just use the moonroof healing technique video. And it is a technique that some may find challenging at first, but if so, put a comment in the comment section and Janet can advise. You do need to be pretty grounded first before you do that video. So perhaps a tricolor earth energy soak, 6-minute video, tricolor earth energy soak first, if you are not especially grounded. So moving on, I feel the obvious thing does need to be said, as it is relevant. December 2018 is the end of the year. And many times it is more of a bridge into January. So it is a sister month. December and January are sister months. And that was true last year. 2017 going into 2018, December and January were sister months that bridged and flowed into each other and ideally would be considered together. And that is again true for this year, 2018 into 2019. December and January are sister months and best thought of and worked as one continuum. So that also applies, therefore, that the Moonroof healing video would be quite nice, and that technique would be quite nice, done several times in January 2019 as well. Basically, just like last year, the December and January advice can be used together. So even in January 2019, while you can use that Metatron recording that will be available at that time, you can also revisit the December 2018 recording, as the advice will also apply to January 2019.